You're not going to be a dictator, are you? I said, no, 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 other than day one.
Donald Trump has successfully moved the Overton window in a way that is as dangerous for the future of democracy in this country as anything else.
This is what Vout and Project 2025 wanted.
Newsom is he's daring Tom Homan to come and arrest him. Should he do it? I would do it if I were Tom. I think it's great.
They control the Congress, they control the White House, and they control the courts. And so, of course, they're massively overreaching. And yes, they are getting away with it right now.
This is clearly a man who cannot tolerate criticism of him or what he does, which is exactly what authoritarianism is all about.
The New York Times is just as fake as CNN and MSDNC. They really are the enemy of the people.
What he is saying, rather bluntly, if you stand up to Donald Trump, he will punish you.
Protesters in Philadelphia, state capitals in California, Minnesota, Michigan, Texas, Wisconsin, Indiana, and others showed up to oppose Trump, Musk, and Project 2025.
The US and President Trump has overseen America's largest military parade in decades as nationwide protests take place against his leadership.
Demonstrations are happening right across the United States today to oppose the Trump administration.
Two visions of America. On a day the country's deepening divide was there for all the world to see.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Jeff Waldorf. Welcome to Logically Left. I got a great show for y'all today. So, we got a ton of FAFO. I mean, a lot. We got Trump Burger. I didn't even know that this was a thing until earlier today. Trump Burger. It's started by a Lebanese immigrant. Oh, you see where this story's going. Fun times there. We've got Pam Bondi on just doing a total distraction away from the Trump Epstein stuff. We've got Trump's lawsuit against the Wall Street Journal, not getting off to a good start. In fact, it's going off to a bad start. We have a self-described fascist who is begging for money after supposedly getting fired. I'm going to look into that. And then Lisa Murkowski is saying, oh my God, can you believe it? Donald Trump, I believe he lied to me. Oh my God. How could this have happened? Oh my goodness. I can't believe he would do that. I feel so cheated. Right. Yeah. So we're going to get into that. Like I said, there's a lot of leopards that are waiting here. And so we shall start the feeding frenzy. Before I do, please like and share the show, stream. Very important that you do so. I do want to thank K4K for signing up to be a supporter on our YouTube membership page, as well as Gabs RDM for being a member as well. So thank you to those who have signed up. Appreciate you. With that, let's do it. Oh, yeah. Gotta love a good leopards eating faces story. A Trump fan that helped start a chain of Trump-themed burger restaurants is now on track to meet some hungry leopards, and they have a taste for faces. Now, the co-owner of Trump Burger in Texas, Roland Bieni, who reportedly grew up in Lebanon, is a Lebanese immigrant, moved to the United States in 2019. Well, this man has been embroiled in some lawsuits and may end up losing his green card, according to documents recently obtained by the Fayette County Record. Bieni alleges in a lawsuit that he owns 50% of the business called Trump Burger, LLC, He filed the suit in Lafayette County in April 16th against Ayad Ebwel Hawa, also known as Eddie Hawa, who started the original Trump Burger in Belleville. So you got two people that are fighting over a Trump burger joint. But what about the actual Trump organization? Because obviously this has nothing to do with the Trump organization. Don't worry, I'll get to that point. Okay, now, in the Fayette County lawsuit, Bieni claims that he had paid Hawa $65,000 for a 50% stake in the business. Bieni's partners, Bart and Dana Blakelock, filed an affidavit supporting Bieni's claim. They said that Hawa agreed to the purchase on or about January 22nd, 2025, and that the money was received by Hawa in March. He has since filed a counterclaim alleging that there was no written contract. Hawa is seeking $1 million in damages, and the case is currently pending in court. So I don't know who is in the right here. I actually kind of don't care. Okay, because it's funny. And he doesn't own, neither of them own Trump, the name Trump. So, all right, but anyway, there's more legal issues, okay? On June 24th, Bieni filed another lawsuit in Harris County against 409 Bradford LLC, Altex Personnel LLC, and Archie Patterson. Patterson owns those companies and the property at 409 Bradford Avenue near the Kemah Boardwalk, which was the home of Trump Burger Kemah. So there's about four different Trump Burger restaurants that are in a chain that is supposedly co-owned by these two people who are now fighting over it. Great. Awesome. According to the lawsuit, Bieni signed a lease agreement with Patterson on January 28th of this year to establish a Trump Burger location in that area. Now, the lawsuit describes a disagreement over a liquor license for the property and an unsigned addendum that Bieni alleges was never part of the original lease agreement. Bieni claims in the lawsuit that Patterson had forced him off the property and had, quote-unquote, commandeered his business. Oh, how dare you? You have forced me off the property, and now you have taken over my business. Now, included in the Kemah lawsuit was something called Exhibit E, a notice of default and termination of lease from 409 Bradford LLC. So this is Patterson, right, who struck back. Okay, now the notice dated June 9th lists several reasons for the lease termination, including several issues related to fire safety standards, because it wouldn't have the Trump name on it if it wasn't like an unsafe death trap. Okay, and then you also had the failure to execute a special addendum, which would have required a $125,000 payment to Patterson that Bieni didn't really want to make. So once again, we got cheapness too, which is a Trump trait. Interesting. So, all right, there's a bunch of legal issues around here, but what about the immigration stuff? I think that's pretty important. Well, we're leading up to that. So now the notice from Patterson about the termination of lease for that particular property notes that, well, look, one of the reasons that we had to cancel that is because he just got arrested by ICE. That's right. Quote, we have been notified that Roland Bieni is currently detained by ICE and his green card has been revoked. He is no longer recognized as a lease leader or authorized representative of Trump Burger Kemah LLC. Oops. Yeah.
Whoopsie.
That seems like a bit of a problem here. Okay. Now, in an interview with The Record on Monday, July 7th, Patterson said Bieni was in ICE custody for approximately 7 weeks and that he was recently released on bond. Why did he get arrested by ICE? I mean, that is the question, right? Since he did have a green card. Well, The Record had obtained a letter from the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services to a woman in East Bernard who claimed to be the wife of Roland Bieni. The letter, dated January 29th, notified the woman that UCIS USCIS intends to revoke approval for the I-130 form, petition for alien relative, that she had filed back in 2021 so that Beanie could keep his green card. The letter said USCIS conducted an investigation into the marriage and found, among other things, that no lease documents or other evidence show that you and Roland Beanie ever actually lived together during your purported marriage. Oh, so this guy comes over from Lebanon using a sham marriage, which, yes, does happen, got together with another immigrant to create a Donald Trump-themed restaurant, and now, because of being caught in that sham marriage, he might be getting kicked out under the Trump administration. Oops. Again, there's so much here.
Whoopsie.
There's the hungry leopards, and they ain't eating at Trump Burger. That's for sure. Now, by the way, Trump Burger, it's not a joke. This was an homage to President Donald Trump. Features things like American flags, Trump references, even like a Trump impersonator. So they went all out. In fact, there was one reviewer of the restaurant that had written this. Quote, as with most aspects of Trump Burger, a menu isn't just a menu. It takes jabs and attempts to drive political points home with brutish humor. The Biden Burger, which is reportedly now the Harris Burger on its Houston menu, features a 1-ounce beef patty topped with an old tomato and the oldest buns available due to cheating and inflation. Really? Listed under an illustration of former President Joe Biden with a red X over his face, the burger is priced at a very random $50.99. When asked about it, a cashier was like, nah, it's a joke. It's not a real dish. You can't actually order a Biden burger. Oh, okay. Ooh, yeah. Now, the reviewer ends by saying, if you're someone who voted for Trump and supports his administration's many compromising decisions, this place is likely for you. Fun. That's definitely on the places to avoid. Okay. But all right. So that said, we're going to get to the other important part here, and that's the actual Trump organization, which I'm sure, it can't be thrilled about this, right? Well, that would be correct. They're not thrilled. In fact, they were sent a cease and desist letter back in February, on February 3rd, which reads, quote, we were surprised to learn that you have been frequently infringing upon the Trump organization's valuable and well-established intellectual property, right, by operating at least 3 restaurants under the Trump name and brand. This use risks misleading the public into falsely believing that your business is affiliated with the Trump organization or endorsed by our clients. You know what's funny is that as far as a review goes on the food, apparently the food was bland. Shocker. It wasn't very good, which kind of tracks. I mean, what would be then the difference between the Trump organization operating in a real Trump burger and this Trump burger? I mean, other than who the money goes to, and I think that's the most important point, there wouldn't be a whole lot of differences. Just saying. Now, the letter then demanded that the business, of course, stop using the Trump name, brand, and trademarks, and to remove all references to the Trump name and all website, social media, marketing, and communication materials. So, it also demanded a full accounting of all revenues generated directly or indirectly from your unlawful use of the Trump name, brand, or trademark. Look, these aren't the only legal troubles facing Bieni, but this man, I mean, he's in a world of trouble, and I can't say he didn't earn any of it. He absolutely did. I mean, again, alleged sham marriage, okay? All these different lawsuits that he's launching against people, and that people are pushing back with countersuits, and again, world of trouble. And add into the fact that he is an immigrant. I mean, if you're an immigrant and you support Donald Trump, you might not be the smartest person in the room. And you might also be next on the list of people that his administration is going to deport or send to CCOT. So I'm just saying that the leopards, they're meeting his face. And them leopards are hungry. Okay. It's great. Absolutely great. This is what trying to be one of the good ones gets you. Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure. All right. The Trump administration is continuing to reel with the fallout of the Epstein files and is desperately attempting to contain the damage. How? Glad you asked. By throwing out the red meat. Lots and lots of red meat. On Monday, for example, Attorney General Pam Bondi announced that the Justice Department has released all the documents related to the FBI's investigation into Hillary Clinton. That's right. Hillary Clinton and her email server. We're bringing back the emails, everybody. Lock her up. Lock her up. The emails are back. Butter emails is back. Yes. And there we go. Now, she, of course, got an assist by Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley. Okay, so I think that Bondi and Grassley, they're like, let's release these files so maybe we can appease the MAGA base because they're kind of mad right now. Now, of course, this is a nothing burger, right? And it's already been investigated by the State Department and the FBI. And they found that while her email system did violate internal policies and that perhaps some classified information ended up getting transferred through unsecured channels, those are big no-nos, right? Yet, the FBI concluded back in 2016 that Clinton had been extremely careless, but did not act with criminal intent. And so, therefore, no charges were filed. All right. Now, until now, Trump was pretty intent on not revisiting that entire thing. But now, oh, here we go. Now we need a distraction. Butter emails! Butter emails! And by the way, that is not the only weapon of mass distraction that they have in their arsenal that they're trying to use. No. Apparently, the Trump administration is releasing over 230,000 pages of documents related to the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. Okay. The release, spearheaded by Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard in coordination with the DOJ, FBI, CIA, and National Archives, includes the digitization of previously unreleased records. All right, sure. Now, Secretary of State and Acting U.S. Archivist Marco Rubio called the move a, quote, historic step in the Trump administration's ongoing commitment to transparency and accountability. Yes, for everything except for Epstein. Yeah. Gabbard insisted in a statement that the MLK files were a major breakthrough. Under President Trump's leadership, we are ensuring that no stone is left unturned. Except for anything, of course, that could tie the president to his pedophile former best friend. Just saying. Just saying. Oh, and speaking of Gabbard, by the way, she had also reintroduced another old conspiracy theory. This time against former President Barack Obama. Yeah, that's right. Gabbard took to social media to share a set of infographics claiming that the Obama administration had used what they called the Russia hoax to undermine Trump's victory in the 2016 election. Americans, she says, will finally learn the truth about how in 2016 intelligence was politicized and weaponized by the most powerful people in the Obama administration to lay the groundwork for what was essentially a years-long coup against President Trump, subverting the will of the American people and undermining our democratic republic. Okay, here we go. So, that's right, going after Barack Obama. We're going to get Obama finally for the Russia stuff. Except that we already knew everything about that, and there isn't any truth to that. Okay? No truth to that. It's just a conspiracy theory. And they're really reaching to the bottom of the barrel here. Look, and if there was any truth to it, by the way, what are you going to do to Obama? He has immunity, thanks to the Supreme Court. Okay? Remember, they ruled in 2024 that presidents have absolute criminal immunity for official acts under core constitutional powers, presumptive immunity for other official acts, and no immunity for unofficial acts. So, what would be the point then? Going after Obama? It's a distraction. That's what it is. They are basically throwing everything that they can at the wall to distract people from the Epstein stuff that continues to get worse every single day. Look, one of the new things that we have found out about this is the fact that Trump threw a Calendar Girls competition back in '93, and the only guest was Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah, that's right. So, of course they partied together. They were BFFs, man. The New York Times published that report back on Saturday. In one of them, and this is back in 2019, by the way, where this man, George Horaney, a Florida businessman who arranged the event, spoke to the Times. He said that when he saw the guest list, he was kind of shocked because there was only one guest on it, and that was Jeffrey Epstein. And not only that, but Jill Harth, Horaney's then girlfriend, accused Trump of forcibly kissing her and fondling her and keeping her from leaving the same night of the party. So, yeah, there you go. The Times also reports that back in 2009, Trump said that he had banned Epstein from Mar-a-Lago after Epstein had been inappropriate with one of the club members' daughters. I don't know how old she was, but remember, Epstein kind of liked him on the younger side. Now, you also had tape from Howard Stern's show back in 2006 that has come back out, and it's biting Trump in the ass. Remember, he had bragged, quote, "If I weren't married, I'd be able to get all the girls I want." To which, Howard Stern had asked, "Oh, do you think you could now be banging 24-year-olds? Oh, absolutely. I have no trouble. I have no problem." His co-host at the time, Robin Quivers, then asked, "Do you have an age limit?" That's a simple question, right? Trump's response was, no, I have no age limit. No. Oh, and then corrected himself, said, well, okay, yes, I do have an age. I don't want to be like Congressman Foley with, 12-year-olds. So apparently he does have an age limit. Good to know. Trump had referred to former Representative Mark Foley, a Republican from Florida, of course, who resigned from the House that year after sending sexually explicit messages to underage teenage boys who were working as congressional pages, one of whom was 16. Foley, interestingly enough, was spotted sitting directly behind Donald Trump at one of his rallies in 2016 in Florida in a section reserved by Trump campaign staff. Interesting. Look, no wonder they're so desperate to bring back all the old hits. Obama, Buttery Mails, and James Comey, all that stuff. I mean, that's it. If you put everything that we know now about Trump Epstein together, and the fact that the FBI had gone through, used 1,000 agents to go through all the different pages to erase any mentions of Donald Trump from the Epstein files. I mean, it looks really bad. Really, 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 really bad. And guess what? Dude brought it all on himself. Remember, Trump was the one who promised to release the Epstein files. He hyped it up, as well as people that now are in his administration, like Pam Bondi, for example. Oh, no, yeah, I got the Epstein files right on my desk. And then they pulled the rug. They just pulled the rug, not realizing that, the cult isn't exactly all lining up behind me this time to defend me. I'm in trouble. And look, and to be clear, though, yes, there is a lot of the cult that is satisfied with Trump's answers. They never cared about, kids. They never cared about the victims here of Epstein. But there still are some fairly sizable cracks in his support. And I do not believe that those are going to go away anytime soon. I haven't heard anything about MLK that wasn't already widely known. Yeah. And them allegedly releasing the documents about MLK's assassination is not exactly helping their case over not doing the same about Epstein. Yep. Indeed. All right, let's move on here. Following the release of a birthday card allegedly sent by President Donald Trump to disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein by the Wall Street Journal, Trump furiously announced that he would be taking legal action against the Murdoch-owned publication. He has since followed through. On Friday, he sued the Wall Street Journal for $10 billion in damages. His case, of course, and this is where it might not be going well for him. His case has been assigned to a federal judge that has been appointed by former President Barack Obama. And here we go.
Obama.
Judge Darren Gales had been elevated to the bench under the Obama administration back in 2014, becoming the first openly gay African-American man to serve as a top-level judge. And right there, those are some strikes, against him when it comes to Trump. First of all, black, gay, Obama. Already, MAGA is calling for his ouster. Of course, or his recusal. Now, the lawsuit was filed in the United States District Court for the Southern District of Florida, where Gales is based, and names Murdoch, News Corp, Dow Jones Company, which is owned by News Corp, the Journal, and the journalists who wrote the article as defendants. Trump, of course, who had come to office promising transparency over the Epstein files, has since tried to brand this issue as nothing more than a Democrat hoax, and has become so frustrated that he accused his past supporters of buying into the BS. Now, in their case, Trump lawyers had argued that on the one hand, defendants Safdar and Palazzolo, who wrote the report, falsely passed off the fact that President Trump in 2003 wrote, drew, and signed the letter. And on the other hand, defendants Safdar and Palazzolo failed to attach the letter, failed to attach the alleged drawing, failed to show proof that President Trump authored or signed any such letter, and failed to explain how this purported letter was obtained. The reason for those failures is because no authentic letter or drawing exists. Trump had also claimed that I don't write drawings, but he actually does do drawings because he has done drawings before. So a total lie. But as for Trump, he said this: "I look forward to getting Rupert Murdoch to testify in my lawsuit against him and his quote-unquote pile of garbage newspaper. That will be an interesting experience." Oh, yes. Oh, yes, it will be. A very interesting experience. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait. Especially when they decide, okay, well, hey, look, we're in court, so we got to show the letter as evidence, here it is. Oops, now what? That's assuming they get this far, because apparently the filing itself is a complete and utter mess. According to Mike Masnick, writing for TechDirt, the lawsuit is, quote, so legally incompetent that it reads like a masterclass in how to not file a defamation claim. The complaint is such a train wreck of basic legal errors and factual misrepresentations that it can only be understood as a slap suit designed to harass the Wall Street Journal and force them to reveal their sources. So that's pretty interesting. Now, what does he mean? What are the errors here? Well, I mean, look at their argument. They said the Wall Street Journal didn't show the letter, and so therefore, well, if you don't show it, it doesn't exist. Well, that's not how journalism works. For one, there are some pretty good reasons for the media not to reveal images of leaked documentation. One of them being able to, the ability to track said document to a person who leaked it. Not only that, but again, Trump's lawyers were also unable to accurately describe what the Wall Street Journal had actually reported about this. The complaint claims the article stated that President Trump in 2003 wrote, drew, and signed this letter, but that's not what the Wall Street Journal had said. The article carefully stated that the letter simply bore Trump's name and signature, and that the drawing appeared to be hand-drawn without attributing the drawing to Trump. So, it's sloppy, right? But it matters. Either it shows that they either didn't read the article, or they are deliberately misrepresenting the letter. Now, they also made some other major F-ups, claiming that an opinion about the letter. Remember, in the article, they called it bawdy. Okay. Oh, this is a bawdy letter from Donald Trump to Jeffrey Epstein. Now, the complaint here is like, oh, see, that is an example of defamation, using that word bawdy. But wait a minute, that's not how that works either. Okay. And bawdy is just like an opinion on the description of the letter. That's not defamation of Trump. It doesn't make any sense. And look, there are plenty of other examples here spelled out in the article. But they come to the conclusion here that this is, again, nothing more than a slap lawsuit that is meant to intimidate the Wall Street Journal. And one of the reasons why they believe that Trump is launching this lawsuit is because of the success that Trump has had against other journalistic outlets. In fact, CBS just paid Trump $16 million to settle a frivolous lawsuit. ABC News paid him $15 million. Meta paid Trump $25 million. And so, based on that, they think, yeah, well, look at all these other outlets that fell to us. So, yeah, we're going to push around the Wall Street Journal. I don't know if that's going to work. I mean, you're going to try to bully Rupert Murdoch? That might not work out well for you. I mean, I don't know. It is possible that Murdoch could just be like, we'll let this one go. We'll settle. But I don't know. That said, the judge itself, himself, being assigned to this, I mean, it doesn't guarantee Trump a win. Now, had he been lucky enough to get Judge Eileen Cannon, then perhaps this, the judge would immediately just be like, I don't care. Trump wins. I mean, it's not like she hasn't done that before. But no, in this judge is he's actually going to be listening to the facts and to the merits of the case. And so far, based on what we've seen from the complaint, it ain't looking good for Donald Trump. Which is why, as I mentioned earlier, MAGA people are calling him for the judge to recuse himself from the case due to a conflict of interest. What exactly is the conflict of interest? Being appointed by Obama.
Obama!
Of course. The thing is, Obama isn't involved in this. This is right-wing infighting over Trump's ties to Epstein. And overall, I think this lawsuit has the possibility of becoming very, very messy if Murdoch decides to fight back. I guess we're going to have to see what happens. And there we go. Oh yeah, everybody's jumping on this one. Let's move on here. A self-described out and proud fascist is begging for donations after he claims that he was fired for having political opinions. Now, the man who identifies himself as Connor has launched a fundraiser asking for donation, to help him rebuild his life because I'm a victim of the cancel cultures. So now this man uses the pseudonym Pine Sap. Okay. Now, he was one of the 20 far-right conservatives who debated Mehdi Hassan as part of Jubilee's Surrounded series. So, look, this got millions of views online. Okay. Now, during the debate, Connor was like, oh, yeah, no, I'm totally a fan of autocracy. I'm a fan of dictatorship. I don't care if people call me a Nazi, all that stuff. That's fine. In fact, I will own this thing. And look, here you go. I'm going to give you the video.
You
Carl
liberals,
Schmitt, the Nazi theoretician.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't care.
Are you a fan of the Nazis?
I don't. I frankly don't care being called a Nazi.
I didn't say that. I didn't actually say that. I said, are you a fan of the Nazis?
Well, they persecuted the church a little bit. I'm not a fan of that. But
what about the persecution of the Jews?
Well, I mean, I certainly don't support anyone's human dignity being assaulted. I'm a Catholic.
But you don't condemn Nazi persecution of the Jews?
I think that there was a little bit of persecution and
we
stuff
may
like
have
that,
to
which is
rename
bad.
this show because you're a little bit more than a far-right Republican.
Hey, what can I say?
I think you can say I'm a fascist.
Yeah, I am. Absolutely.
I'm just checking who's clapping just to get my set of where everyone is on this. Because you know that millions of people are going to be watching you on YouTube and checking out who the fascists and the Nazis are.
I'm not ashamed of that whatsoever.
No, clearly you're not.
Yeah, man, I don't care. Yeah, well, I'm a fascist. Yeah, ooh, yeah, yup, great. Except now he apparently cares a great deal now that he is allegedly seen some consequences. Connor claims that he was fired for his political views and has launched a fundraising page on the right-wing Give, Send, Go platform. He said, I'm raising money as an emergency fund and for other expenses while I look for a new job. Unfortunately, voicing fully legal traditional right-wing political views results in real consequences. This is cancel culture and political discrimination on full display. Bro, you said you're a fascist, and you said I don't care if people call me a Nazi, and then you quoted a Nazi. I don't know how you wouldn't how you would think that you wouldn't see any sort of consequences from this, but okay. Now, look, earlier in that exchange, again, he described how he doesn't like democracy. He wants an autocracy or dictatorship. Look, I believe that this, just listening to this guy, I believe he's one of those people who is more in line with Curtis Yarvin's, dark enlightenment movement, which, again, all those people that are involved in this stuff, they talked about how, oh, yeah, no, democracy and freedom, and by the way, by freedom they mean corporate freedom, let's be honest, are incompatible. So, yeah, no, if we want to have corporate rule, we got to get rid of that whole democracy thing, and get a CEO to run the country. That's it. That's what they want. They want a CEO type of figure to run the country as a dictator. Yeah. And not only, look, this dictatorship, of course, would be run basically on I mean, racial lines. Okay. So it would be a racist, fascist dictatorship for the benefit of certain types of white people, mainly white Christian right wingers, like that guy who is he's like, oh yeah, I'm a Catholic. Okay. But he's one of those ones who apparently loves fascism, loves the far right, and identifies with all of that stuff. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Okay. But anyway, here's the thing. I believe that Connor is running a con of his own. And now, why do I say that? Well, again, he claims, oh, I was fired, right? I was fired from my job. But wait a minute. So you go on this show, on this live stream, to debate very, very openly. You know it's going to be viewed by millions and millions of people. You go on there and you say, oh, yeah, I want an autocracy. And yes, please go ahead and call me a Nazi because I basically am. And so do that. And then you knew that beforehand that you were going to do this, that there could be potential consequences. And you didn't think, oh, maybe I shouldn't do it. Or maybe I shouldn't be as open about how much I want, our country to be a dictatorship. You didn't think about that? No, of course they thought about that. Not only that, but this alleged job that he had, what were the details there? Where did he work? What did you do? What was your job title? I don't know any of that information. I mean, you would think that if he got fired, that he would name and shame the company and say, oh, see, these woke people fired me for my political opinion. You should boycott them. But none of that. I think that's a bit of a red flag there. Okay. No, what I think this man is doing is he wants to grab this bag. Okay. He wants to grab his bag by claiming that he is a victim of cancel culture. Oh, I have been canceled for having political opinions. Please give me money. And then maybe come, watch my podcast or something. Go to my YouTube channel. What? You don't think that happens? Happens all the time. This seems like your classic conservative, I was canceled grift. Which happens a lot. And it worked. Oh, it absolutely worked. As of Tuesday morning, contributions to this guy's Give, Send, Go hit under $20,000. This guy is making bank off of this. And so his name's out there, people talking about him. And then you've got Nazis going and giving money to him. No, this couldn't have worked out better. Couldn't have worked out better for this guy. And again, the people that are donating to him are either the dumbest people on the planet or the most racist, vile people on the planet. I mean, it's an obvious grift. An obvious grift. And it worked. I mean, it worked like a freaking charm. So now this guy's got, who was a Nazi, now has the support of all the online Nazis. In fact, here's one of the messages from his donors. Quote, "We need a white nation. It's our only future. Viva la fascism," one donor wrote, while contributing $88. So that's your reference to 1488, the Hitler stuff. I mean, there it is. I mean, that's just one example, okay? Look at the irony, though, too, of this man who loves dictatorships, wants a CEO president, and, believes that he is one of the superior people that, oh, no, an autocrat's not going to come after and kill me, he said in that debate, okay? They're just going to come after everyone else, and I'm totally fine with that. But the irony of this guy going in and begging for a little socialism because he had allegedly lost his job, I mean, That is a lot of irony here. And again, I cannot confirm that he even had a job before this and that he lost it. I mean, if he did, I guess that's a bit of a FAFO, but then again, here you have him making money off other neo-Nazis. And here's the problem, okay? That's the problem. People like him have gotten to a point where they're, emboldened enough to openly preach about wanting a dictatorship that is a racist dictatorship, by the way, and being a fascist neo-Nazi. They're openly being able to preach about that. And then when people push back because it's a horrific ideology, they then claim, oh, I'm a victim. I'm the real victim here. And then are able to grab that bag. Seems like a bit of a problem here. So again, to me, his story just don't check out. And it's hitting a lot of these. It is a grift, part of the grifter industrial complex that has been built on the right wing. No doubt he has some abhorrent views, and no doubt he couldn't wait to share those abhorrent views. And now that he rightfully got pushback for having those abhorrent views, he's claiming to be a victim and making money off of it. And that right there, that's how the game's played. Masterful. All right. Speaking of masterful, okay, masterful gambit. Let's go to Lisa Murkowski. Oh yeah, sounds like Steve Bannon stealing MAGA donations for the We Build the Wall project, being convicted and then pardoned by Trump. Exactly. That's a great example. Great example. What about all the other debaters there cheering him on? It's not just that one guy. No, that's very, very true. That is a good point. Yeah, there's a lot of very basically, Mehdi Hassan walked into a room filled with 20 Nazis. And that's really it. And it's a good example of how these people are not going to change their mind. Not going to change their mind at all. Okay. Anyway, Lisa Murkowski. Let's do it. Alaska Senator Lisa Murkowski is feeling a bit played by President Donald Trump. Oh, interesting. Now, Murkowski was the deciding vote on Donald Trump's big, beautiful BS bill. And the reason that the stated reason that she gave for voting in favor of it, even though she had some issues with it, was the goodies that she was promised. Unsurprisingly, though, Trump has found a way out of delivering those promises. Shocker. In fact, according to Anchorage Daily News, who talked to Murkowski on Friday, she said, quote, "I feel cheated. I feel like we made a deal, and then hours later, a deal was made to somebody else." What was the deal here? Now, ahead of the bill's passage earlier this month, Murkowski had co-sponsored an amendment to ease the phase-out of certain tax credits. These are tax credits for solar and wind under the Inflation Reduction Act. Now, her measure would have ensured a 12-month window for clean energy projects, which would end in 2027. These tax credits would help alleviate a potential energy crisis along Alaska's rail belt, the electrical grid that serves roughly 75% of the state's population, due to the declining resources of natural gas. All right, so she gets that amendment, she puts it in there, and then votes for the bill. And this bill, of course, does numerous amounts of damage to things like SNAP, the SNAP program, food stamps, Medicaid, while extending tax cuts for the rich, which blow up the deficit. Now, she said that after she had voted for it, well, I voted to advance it so that they could change things and then send it back to us. Really? Really? Oh, that's interesting. What happened? It immediately, once it got back to the House of Representatives, voted on, passed, signed into law by the president. Oops. Oh, no.
Whoopsie.
That's not what I wanted to happen. I wanted it to be refined and then sent back to me so that I could vote for it. With probably no changes. Really? Really? Oh, fell for it again, did you? Oh, darn. Again, what happened to her amendment, though? It's still in there, obviously. However, on Friday, Trump issued an executive order to, quote-unquote, end market distorting subsidies for green energy projects. Which means the deal that he made is gone. The order directs Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent to take actions to strictly enforce the termination of clean electricity production and investment tax credits. Oh, is that amendment gone? Null and void, you say? Well, oops, who couldn't see that one coming? Murkowski told the Anchorage Daily News, quote, "Do I feel like the administration was not being upfront with us? Yes." Oh, no kidding. Are you saying the lying liar lied again? Just to get what he wanted? No. Oh, what a surprise. Oh, who could have seen that one coming except for every single person who's freaking paying attention? You dumb cow. I'm sorry. No, here's the thing, though, okay? I'm going to take that back. She's not a dumb cow. Lisa Murkowski, I don't think she is stupid. There's no way she didn't know that Trump was going to do this, to get rid of clean energy, okay? The guy hates clean energy. You ever heard him talking about windmills? Windmills. I mean, he's constantly talking, windmills, they kill all the birds, and they give you cancer. They go, ree. And you're saying that he wouldn't get rid of the tax subsidies for those tax credits for those projects? Are you freaking kidding me? Are you kidding me? He said he was going to get rid of all that stuff. And that's exactly what he did. I mean, you'd have to not be paying attention at all to think that that wasn't going to happen. You know that it was going to happen. You knew, Lisa Murkowski. You knew. And you didn't care. Here's what I think is going on here. Okay? I think Lisa Murkowski wants plausible deniability when the expiration of those tax credits drives up the price of energy for every Alaskan. Okay? So, now, look, she wants that plausible deniability so that the residents do not blame her for casting the deciding vote. Oh, it wasn't my fault. Donald Trump, he deceived me. He deceived me. Well, then why would she vote in favor of this bill, knowing that this is going to happen? Because she was told by her donors to do that. She did the bidding of her donors who wanted the tax cuts. That's it. And now she wants to pass the buck onto someone else. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm just not buying her, aw, shucks, I can't believe he was dishonest. I can't believe I was deceived. Oh, my goodness. How many times has he lied to her? Every time. This has got to be the umpteenth time that Trump has lied to Lisa Murkowski the Republicans had lied, the other Republicans have lied to Lisa Murkowski and got her to vote on something that now I've got so much regret every single time. How could you keep falling for this? Well, it's because her number one priority is to serve her corporate donors. That's it. And she did that. She delivered for them. She delivered greatly for them and hurt the people in her state. Now, of course, the only issue now is she's going to have to answer to the voters. Of course, the voters, these Republican voters, they're most likely going to keep giving her a pass. Every single time. Every single time. So, look, that's how the game is played. Plausible deniability. Oh, I didn't know that this was going to happen. Not my fault. Just keep voting for me as she continues to use her position, her votes to enrich her big, giant corporate donors. Do not fall for this, this excuse for doing exactly what she was hired and paid to do, which is to cut taxes for corporations, for oil companies, prop them up while kneecapping alternative energy. She is probably one of the worst people because she tries to hide behind this ridiculous veneer of being a so-called moderate, when in reality she has done nothing but encourage and cover for the worst bills and the worst politicians that are actively hurting her own constituents. And once again, she doesn't give a single damn about any of them, only on how well she can service her paymasters. If she knew, she does a great, genuinely shocked Pikachu face. Exactly. She's been playing this game the whole time. And so, hey, you know what? She's gotten real good at it. Orange King talked about nuking hurricanes in his first term. Some people never learn. Yeah. So follow the money. Exactly. Follow the money. It's true. It's what happens when you put idiots in charge of processes they have no clue about and have actively called to the end of the systems they're appointed to lead. Yeah, and again, that's really, it's, I think, less about ignorance and more about, hey, I was told by my donors to destroy government, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. All right. Well, that's it. That's all I got for you today. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. If you haven't already, please like and share the stream. Sign up, become a member. Hit the join button below if you're on YouTube. Become a subscriber if you're on the Facebook, or if you're watching us on Twitch. Support the show by helping us, or by signing up to be a subscriber, or you can use your Amazon Prime account if you have it to get the show, to support the show for no extra money on your part. So Bezos bucks, I'll take them. But anyway, that said, you can also go to our Patreon page, patreon.com/jeffwaldorf. All right. Look, I'm out of here for the day. We're going to be, I'm going to be doing the show, of course, tomorrow on thisface.tv. So that's over on their YouTube channel. Go sign up, check them out. They're trying to go for, old day progressive programming, which I think is pretty awesome. So you've got a lot of great, fantastic creators that are doing their shows, and I'm happy to be a part of that project to kind of build a more centralized progressive network. So if you can join them, it's thisface.tv. Check them out. Join the channel. And watch me tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern. And then watch those who do a show after me. So that said, thank you all for joining me. Love you. And remember, change begins with you. Good night, everybody.